In this episode, what about last wedding season? Hi there, bridal couples to be.
Welcome to How to Get Married in Holland.
The ultimate wedding podcast of and about the Netherlands.
We, wedding ceremony experts, aka Celebrants Daphne and Jasperin, share all ins and outs of getting married in our flat and fabulous country.
Enjoy listening.
Yes, let's talk about last year. New Year has just begun. For us, it's a bit of a low season, so a good idea to look back on last year. So, Daphne, how was last year for you? How was the last wedding season for you?
Oh, it was so fulfilling. It really was because, after waiting for, pretty long period due to COVID, of course, we were able to marry again, to conduct ceremonies, to meet with couples, to really celebrate love together. So
Did you have weddings that were postponed?
yeah,
Still, I
many.
mean, weddings that you should have done the year before or the year before that, even.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've married couples who I first met like 3 years ago. So that was a pretty long time to wait to get married. Yeah,
And their lives may have changed.
yes, that too. Some became parents in the meantime.
Wow.
So pretty life changing. And there was also a couple who decided not to get married anymore. Yeah, yeah. And they're still happy together, but they had to postpone their wedding so many times, like 4 times, I believe, that, they said, well, we'll just wait. We want to travel. And then...
So it's not that they've split up. They're still together.
No, they're still together, but they lost their joy
I can understand
yeah.
that. I had one couple who did that too. So I can fully understand it. It drained the enthusiasm out of their plans.
Yeah, and they said, if there's one thing we want to really enjoy, that's our wedding day and the process before, the whole organization. So that's why they decided to postpone it.
When did your season start last year?
In April.
Okay.
So it was early spring, and it started with an outdoor wedding.
Okay.
It was a little bit chilly, but it was the sun came, peeking through the clouds.
Peeking through.
And it was wonderful. And I was, almost like a little lamb who went out in the meadow for the first time.
Yeah.
So
Happy.
Very happy, almost jumping for joy. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was such a wonderful season, not only because we were able to to marry again, to conduct ceremonies, but also because it was such a variety in weddings. Outside, inside, city weddings, island weddings.
Oh, wow. Island?
Yeah, on an island.
Which island did you go to?
In the Netherlands, it's called the Waddeneilanden.
Okay.
So it's in the north of the Netherlands.
Right.
So you have to go, you can only reach it by boat.
That's the dog.
That's the dog. I think he's hearing the mailman.
The mailman, okay.
Yeah. And I received a beautiful invite lately from the mailman, from a bridal couple. It was such a beautiful invitation, and it really got me thinking about all the wonderful weddings that we're looking forward to, of course, this wedding season. But you were asking me about last season, and it was on an island, that wedding, and it was
which one?
It was Texel.
Okay.
And it brought everyone in such a holiday atmosphere, the whole process before the ceremony started even.
Why did they choose to get married in Texel?
Because they met there.
Ah.
Yeah, so their love story started there.
Okay.
So yeah, it was it made the circle complete, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so
So that was a
nice.
lovely gesture.
Hmm.
And I also married um, a wedding planner this year of last
Oh,
year,
okay.
which was pretty exciting
Oh, yes.
because, yeah, her level of quality and her expectations are
Mm-hmm.
pretty high.
Hmm.
So I was quite honored that she asked me to
Hmm.
be their wedding officiant.
Did she plan her own wedding then?
She did. So the process before the wedding day, the whole
Mm-hmm.
organization, she prepared herself. But well, together with a friend of hers who is also a wedding planner.
Okay.
So they did it together. And on the day itself, she tried to be the bride and let go
Did
of
it
her
work?
wedding planner eye a little bit. And her friend was in charge of the organization
Oh,
on the
that's
day
good.
itself. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Hmm. Very nice.
So I
What
had a
about?
critical eye of two wedding
Oh,
planners looking at
yes.
me,
But
but
very
it,
nice that they asked you.
yeah, yeah, it
Hmm.
was wonderful. It was top notch.
Hmm.
It really
Hmm.
was.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I saw on your Instagram. I saw a very intimate wedding on a boat in Amsterdam.
Yes,
What
yeah.
about that one?
It was in cooperation with My Wedding Amsterdam,
Okay.
which is a beautiful initiative for couples coming from abroad who try to have a really intimate wedding
Mm-hmm.
in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mostly elopements, but
Right.
also rather intimate weddings with 10, 20 people or so.
Uh-huh. Yes.
But this one was really just a couple, the wedding planner, the photographer, the videographer, and
Wow.
myself being the
Okay.
officiant.
Oh.
And of course, the crew of the boat, the
Mm-hmm.
captain and his assistant. So it was really intimate setting.
As intimate as can be.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Lovely.
romantic, in the
Oh.
evening with the
Mm.
lights on the Amsterdam
Mm.
canals. And
Mm.
yeah, and yeah, so much love.
Mm.
So, yes, it can be wonderful to celebrate together because I
Mm.
also had a wedding with 200 guests,
Right.
big
That's the other
party.
side.
That's the other side, who, by the way, didn't fit into the ceremony room.
Right.
So that's one tip to start with. Check how many people you can accommodate in your venue.
In the venue.
Yeah, and
Yes.
of course the venue will advise.
Mm-hmm.
But there were a lot of spontaneous guests
Mm-hmm. Okay.
who weren't invited, but who've heard from others and decided to come anyway.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't want to send them away because they were happy to see them.
Sure.
But yeah, it didn't fit.
No.
So it was a bit crowdy.
Huh.
Um, but yeah.
So that was one of your learning moments and tips.
Yeah.
Can you, if you look back on last year, are there any more tips or yeah, tips you can share with our listeners
Yeah.
that they can use for their weddings?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I had a wedding couple, well, who had to postpone their wedding due to COVID and who became parents in the meantime.
Wow.
So their little daughter was present on the wedding day, of
Mm-hmm.
course. But they were in between. Yeah, they couldn't decide whether it was wise to have her present during the ceremony
So she
or
was
with a
really a
nanny.
toddler, like a year and a half.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
nearly a year.
Okay. Okay. Not even a year. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And she was with a nanny
Mm-hmm.
who she knew very well. So she was at ease, the little one. And she wasn't present at the ceremony.
Right.
But the nanny was very curious, of course, to see how the ceremony went. So she came out to take a peek.
Oh dear.
But then the little one, their daughter, saw
Mm-hmm.
her parents.
Yes.
And of course, she wanted to go be with her parents.
Yes.
So she made a lot of noise.
Mm.
And it was, yeah, how do you say it? In the Netherlands, we say schattig.
Yeah,
It's such
it was sort of cute, but in the
it
meantime,
was cute.
maybe the bride felt not at ease anymore and not in the
No,
moment.
of course not, because her mother instinct,
Yes.
uh, yeah, got
Mm.
the priority,
Mm.
and she wanted to comfort her daughter,
Mm.
and and her daughter was reaching out with the little
Yes.
arms, so it was
Ah.
very endearing.
Yeah.
But the whole flow of the ceremony was interrupted,
The
really, to
atmosphere
be
was
honest.
gone. The
Yeah,
carefully um, directed atmosphere that you created was gone.
yeah,
You have to start all over again, right?
yeah, and
Sort
the
of.
sort of,
I mean,
yeah,
you
and
start again with you continue with your story, but the feeling is
yeah,
the vibe is gone.
yeah. And
Mm.
that's very important, but my priority is also with the wedding couple.
Yes,
So I want to check if they are okay.
sure.
What do you want? Do you want to go to your daughter? Do
Yeah,
you want to continue? What
yes.
that
Mm.
check-in moment?
Mm.
And they said, "Oh, we'll just pause for a minute."
Mm.
And then she came to sit with her
Mm.
parents, and there was
Mm.
cuddles, and
Mm.
everything was okay.
Yeah,
And then we continued the ceremony,
yeah.
and it was a lovely ceremony. But yeah, I had to not play pause and play again, but
Mm.
a little bit of a rewind, and
Right.
then pick the story up, and
So,
then,
what's your recommendation then?
well, decide one thing or the other. So let
Yes.
your children be present during the whole ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
or be with a nanny and make sure they are entertained with, a movie or whatever they like.
I think that's a very sensible idea. Either one thing or the other.
Yeah, yeah. Because in between is yeah, a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so that's a very good tip.
yeah,
Can you share other tips with us?
yeah. I had a different wedding
Mm-hmm.
where there were also children present, but they were adults
Okay.
and they were above 18.
Mm-hmm.
So in the Netherlands, you can be a witness, a legal witness,
Right.
for the official wedding ceremony, that is.
Sure.
Um, but they had several roles during the ceremony. So they were witnesses.
Mm-hmm.
They were receiving the guests, making sure everything was in order and in
Mm-hmm.
time, and
Mm-hmm.
just like the wedding couple, according to their wishes.
Yes.
But there also were witnesses. And the son was also the driver of the wedding couple.
Oh,
And the daughter was also in charge of the flowers. And so it was, yeah, it was
they had to do
stressful.
everything,
Yeah, yeah,
and that put a lot of pressure on them.
yeah. Too much pressure.
Too
Yeah.
much pressure.
Because
Yes.
when we were, in the middle of the
Mm-hmm.
ceremony and we transformed to the official part of it all,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they weren't quite there.
Yeah.
I saw it in their eyes. So
Yes.
I always am very keen that everyone is really present. And I
Mm-hmm.
try to mention their name or,
Mm.
get their attention.
Mm.
But they were so stressed with every task on their to-do list.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a pity because
Mm.
you need to enjoy. Uh,
So really, what you're saying is, it's great if your children can play a part in your wedding,
yeah, or
whether
other
it's the
loved
day
ones. Yeah.
or yeah, but just give them one task
One
so they
thing
can
to
focus
do.
on that, and then they can be with their full attention during the ceremony or the task that they have to perform,
Yeah.
rather than being everywhere with their minds because they
Everywhere.
have so much
Yeah.
on their
At the
plate.
same time. Yeah.
Yes.
And rather,
Okay.
ask the help from a professional,
Sure.
because it is
Yeah.
quite a production, a wedding.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
It
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's very useful. Um, let's finish with a third one. Do you have another?
Let's see. Um, do I have a third one? Yes, of course. I have so many experiences and things I've seen, and um,
What was it with the bad weather and
yes, I had a wedding which was outside,
IT? Yeah.
but only outside,
Okay.
and it started early in
That
the
was Plan
afternoon.
A and Plan B.
Yes, it was, because the inside was a restaurant where
Okay.
other guests were,
Oh,
enjoying their dinner
yes.
and their lunch,
Mm-hmm.
etc. So the guests were received with a high tea, which was
Very
lovely, in a
nice.
beautiful stretch tent,
Oh, lovely.
wonderfully decorated, very
Mm.
stylish. And the plan was that everyone in between of the high tea and the
Hmm.
ceremony itself
Hmm.
would be entertained by, going on the river with a boat or playing outdoor games or,
Oh, very nice.
having a chat. It was a little bit of a reunion as well for
Yes.
the family,
Yes.
but it rained
Oh dear.
the whole
Okay.
time, the
So
whole day.
you couldn't go out on the boat. You couldn't play the outdoor games.
No, no, not without being ruining your wedding outfit or
Right.
beautiful hair. So so everyone was a little bit of in the waiting modus for the
Of
ceremony,
course.
and then only if it's a few hours, it could take a long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do take a look at your schedule, at your
Yeah.
plan A, at plan B,
Yeah.
because the weather can change
Yeah. We are in the
overnight.
Netherlands. This is the
Yeah.
Netherlands. The weather can change. You can have rain and sun on one day easily. So whatever you do, the choices that you make sure that you have a plan B, a weatherproof, a weatherproof plan B.
Yes, that is.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
true. Yeah.
Okay.
So, shall we talk about your feedback and look back on previous wedding season in next episode, Jasperien?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay.
Take
Talk
care.
soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to How to Get Married in Holland.
We look forward to share more about organizing your wedding day in the Netherlands in the next episode.
Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss anything.
Any questions in the meantime?
Please ask wedding celebrants Daphne or Jasperin. You can find us, plus the show notes, on Instagram.
And if you love this podcast, please leave a review.
It gives us a higher ranking, so more fun international couples with Dutch wedding plans will be able to find us.
Until next time.